When you're starting your first job, you probably got a lot of paperwork. And in that paperwork, there was probably a form to sign up for something called a 401k. Well, what is a 401k? The 401k is just an investment account that the IRS gave special rules to. And the best way to think about it, I think, is almost like it's an invisibility cloak or stealth camouflage for your money. And essentially your money remains invisible until you pull it out or until you get real old. So I wanted to make this video just to quickly kind of go over the basics of how it works so that you know what you're signing up for on your first job. So why even sign up for a 401k? Well, there's a very popular benefit called the employee match. And basically the way it works is every dollar you put into your 401k, your company will put another dollar in. Now, if this were an investment, that would be a guaranteed 100% rate of return. There is nothing out there that can perform as well. So that's one of the main incentives for contributing to the 401k. The other big one is the fact that your money is invisible, like I was saying before. And what I mean by invisible is it's invisible from taxes. So every dollar you put in, that dollar reduces your tax liability for that current year. So if you're making, let's say, $100,000 and you put in $10,000, well, as far as the IRS is concerned, that tax year, you really made $90,000. So it's a great way to shield your money from taxes and let that amount grow as long as you can before it gets taxed. So the next question you might ask is, what can I actually buy with this money in the 401k? And the answer really depends on your employer and the provider that they selected. So there are a lot of providers out there: Fidelity, Vanguard, T. Rowe Price, and some are a lot better than others. But you can generally get a list from your HR team to see kind of what funds are allowed to be purchased in your 401k plan. And there's a lot that goes into selecting a fund, but one of the main things I always check is kind of the expense ratios to see, okay, well, how much does it cost if nothing happens? You know, if it goes up or down, what am I going to pay every single year? And that usually helps me make a decision on what kind of fund I really want. The next step is determining how much money you can actually put in. And obviously your main constraint is going to be how much money you make and how much do you spend to survive. But there's also an IRS constraint of $19,500. And this is a limit for people under 50. If you're over 50, you can do up to $26,000 because they have a $5,500 catch-up contribution. So with most tax rules, there's typically some constraints around the amount of income that you make. Well, the 401k is kind of an exception to that rule. You can make as much money as you want and still participate fully in the 401k program. And in fact, the more money you make, the larger the benefit is because of something called marginal tax rates. But long story short, you don't have to worry about how much money you make in order to participate in the 401k. So you're contributing to this 401k over the course of your career and your investing life, and it eventually will grow into a large sum of money. And you're probably wondering, well, when can I pull this out? And there is one pretty large constraint. It's 59.5 is when you can pull the money out penalty-free. And there are a lot of rules around getting money out of your 401k, but essentially if you're younger than 59.5, you got to pay a 10% additional tax on your money. So not only do you pay your ordinary income tax on the money that you pull out, you pay a penalty of 10%. So it's very, very disadvantaged to pull that money out at that time. So generally, you probably want to wait until 59.5. There are ways of getting it earlier, typically with backdoor Roth conversions, which I don't have time to go into. But that's essentially kind of the generalized rules around pulling money out of your 401k. So that's pretty much it. The two key benefits here are really that employer match, where every dollar you put in, your employer is doubling that money. So that's the no-brainer. And then the other kind of more complicated benefit is the fact that, well, if you put money in today, you get a tax deduction, and presumably when you're older, you'll be in a lower tax bracket when you're retired, and you'll pay taxes at a lower rate. So you get a net tax savings from that activity. So after you've subscribed and liked and hopefully shared this with someone you think might find a benefit from it, go to your 401k provider's website and look at those expense ratios and look at the history of each fund's performance and try to sign up for it if you haven't already. So that's all I wanted to say. Thanks for watching.